Gonna get going here in just a bit. It is the RRV day. Gonna throw out some announcements in various spots. And over here. And over there. Here. Hey, Drake. Welcome in. Just throwing some announcements out in various spots. At the moment. Hey, Cosmic. Welcome in, guys. Throw some shout outs out. Cosmic was doing a stream this morning and kind of missed that one, but here's a shout out for you. This is the Raving Rabbids game. Or not Raving Rabbids, but the Mario vs. Rabbids. Classic game. I'll throw Pulse a shout out because he's doing Silent Hill today. And Cassie is doing Silent Hill 2. So we'll throw her a shout out as well. I'm gonna go ahead and throw up a link to Retro Achievements and pin it for the night. All right. So, get started here. So, for anyone watching the VOD or anyone watching for the first time, this is the Retro Achievements review. And the point of this show is to go over the last week's worth of new sets on retroachievements.org. This is so what Retro Achievements are, is they are achievements put together by gamers for gamers, where they basically create challenges for each other, kind of in a form similar to you have your Xbox achievements and your PlayStation trophies. So now we have achievements for retro games. So you have your Marios and your Sonics and all kinds of stuff in between. Yeah. So this week is the 17th. So we are starting from I think last week the last one we talked about was Tetris Plus. It's down here. So we are on to Suikoden 5 here. It's the first game of the night. So the Suikoden series, I think, started on PlayStation from Konami. I didn't realize they had got up all the way to number 5. I want to say the 100 Heroes Eiyuden games are from some of the same developers, like game designer, kind of a crowdfund for a spiritual success for the series. So if you're interested in those and you're following those, I think some of those games are available on Steam. I don't know if all of them are out yet. I think we're still waiting on the main one, but it's kind of, I think that's from the same creators as this series. Hey Wolfie, welcome in. So let's look at the set here. A lot of progress ones, a few missiles. Got a Victory Plus. I'm guessing that's like an S rank. Major Battle number 2, number 3. I think we saw Suikoden Tactics a couple of weeks ago. Your Pavlovian experiment is working. Every time I hear Sega, I think Wolfie. Is that how it is? You've trained us to think of you when we hear Sega, something like that. Anyway, welcome in, man. Hope you're having a good day. We are looking at the first game of the night, which is Suikoden 5 on the PS2. It's a quite large set. I'm guessing there's like a lot of side content and side quests. A lot of these are like recruit this guy, recruit that guy. Complete subquests. Multiple volumes. Unique bat scenes. Oh boy. All right, let's take a look at this one. So we've got Suikoden 5 on PS2.
Oh, George.
What?
When we get back to Sophalena, you'd better watch how you talk. Be polite and use the proper forms of address, okay?
You know you are ever so right, Leon. George may
I hope they have the
forgotten that
undub.
I am the younger sister of our glorious.
We should check that. But let's skip to some combat here. Maybe. Surely there's some combat in this game. And here's where Wolfie pipes in. Don't call me Shirley. Oh, here we go. Alright, so I played a little bit of the original Suikoden way back when. Didn't really spend a whole lot of time with it. But, it's a turn-based RPG. I don't know what else to say. Looks like you get random encounters. You got an auto mode. There you go. So I'll probably have to give this one a shot, because I am into the turn-based games, and I do want to play. I'll probably play the first one first before I jump on the later ones, but it's cool that this will be available. And I do want to see if they have an undub. They have a widescreen. I wonder if there's an undub available. That would definitely be worth looking into. Got a wild Shelmet spawning for those doing Pokemon. The Discernment reminded me a bit of FF9 environment. Oh, yeah, I mean, it's, I think it was a fairly early PS2 game. If we look at that one again. That was 2006. No, maybe not. When was the PS2 released again? It was like 2001, right? Yeah, 2000. Late 2000. So this is actually 6 years in, and it looks like that. I wonder if the when the Japanese release was. No, also 2006. So yeah, not super visually impressive for being on PS2. I would agree with you. It's but I mean, Final Fantasy 9 was very impressive for. I mean, it was a very late PlayStation 1 game. So there's that. But this is like 6 years later, 7 years later, and doesn't really look that much better. So that's maybe a little disappointing. Hey, Wise, welcome in. For your shout out here. Here's Wise playing some, what is that one? Oh, that's Bloodlines. Alright, so next up we got Tonic Trouble on the Game Boy Color. I want to say I've seen either an N64 or a PlayStation game. N64. Okay, so there's a main game that is the N64 game, and this is a Game Boy Color spin-off from Ubisoft. So maybe the same team that does the Rayman games. So kind of a mixed. That series is kind of a mixed bag. I think the first Rayman is really good. The 3D platform Rayman is pretty good, and Rayman Origins is pretty good. But there's a lot of pretty sad Rayman games. So I don't know if it's necessarily a good thing, but anyway. Okay, so we got some Deathless Chivos. Got some Damageless Chivos. Okay, so Damageless and Deathless. That's a 2D platformer? Yeah. Trouble TBC. I'm doing alright. Had a oh wait, this is the PC one. Let's see. Is there a GBC one? Here we go. Glad to be done. Glad to be done with work.
I don't think
Okay, so I don't want to listen to commentary, but not super impressive for the Game Boy Color. We believe in you, Wolfie. Go for it. Life's too short. Let's see here. So this is Tonic Trouble on the Game Boy Color that we're looking at here. And I got it muted because it's somebody's got a video here that's got a lot of commentary. I don't want to, steal their commentary or anything. But looks like I mean it's a 2D platformer. Not super impressive. But whatever. If you like the N64 version, might be worth a shot. Hey Knocker, welcome in. Throw Knocker a shout out here. We are just on to the second game here in the list. Yeah. So Suikoden 5 came out with a set, and Tonic Trouble came out. Next up, we're looking at Under the Tower. So this is a turn-based RPG. So Arduboy is kind of a it's kind of homebrew only. Real short set here. Most of the games for Arduboy are pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So might be worth checking out. It's not going to be super graphically impressive though. Arduboy is pretty limited. It's only black and white, and the games I've seen on there are not super impressive. Next up, we got Nuclear Strike 64. So Nuclear Strike, I think, was on PlayStation. Yeah, PlayStation. And you're like flying around a helicopter and blowing stuff up. It's a lot of fun. And there's like a Desert Strike on Super Nintendo. That's also a lot of fun. And these are the same guys that we go on to make. Was it like LAPD Police or LAPD Cop or something like that? Which is a game we played for Reviewers Roundtable a while back, also on PlayStation. So this is from some of the same folks at Electronic Arts, long ago, when that was not a swear word for gamers. Let's see. So we got beat all the scenarios, beat them on hard. And then Deathless. Lots of Deathless Chivos. Alright. That could be pretty tough. Take a look at Nuclear Strike. Future Cop LAPD. Yeah, that's the one. That was the one we were playing on on PlayStation. That was a review game. That got a set too recently. Well, relatively recently. A couple months ago, I think. There we go. I apologize if I sound a little strange today. I feel like I'm a little stuffed up. But it's just allergies or something. Yes. All the Strike games are kind of shooty games. Most of them are kind of from this like top-down perspective where you're flying around kind of it's fairly non-linear, each level is. I mean, you go level to level, so it's linear in that sense, but any given level is you're just kind of like wandering around a map and defeating X number of enemies, or, you know, so on. Allergic to missable achievements. Yeah. I mean, given that most of the games I play are like RPGs, I'm okay with there being, you know, like, you can miss this achievement because you can miss, you know, the opportunity to do a certain side quest or to beat a boss under certain conditions or something like that. Like, that's fine. I don't see a problem with that. Like, it's just kind of annoying sometimes when there's not a lot of when it's not very clear what you would do to not miss it. You know? Or like in a platformer where you have to, you know, get through half the game just to get a chance at a missable. That can be kind of annoying if there's no like level skip. But then a lot of those games are fairly short to begin with, so it's like, eh. Oh hey, Automod caught a bot. Good job, Automod. Anyway, but this is a Nuclear Strike. See some of the levels here if we can. I think this video is only one level though. Oh well. It's definitely from that like early 3D era, so it's a little hard to tell what you're shooting at or what things are supposed to be. Though your own ship's pretty good. I imagine if you play this on emulator, you can maybe improve the resolution a bit here and there. Yeah, gonna put us out of job, I suppose. The AI mod. Anyway, so that was Nuclear Strike 64. Most of those games are pretty fun. It wasn't exactly, you know, visually impressive, but probably still a pretty fun game. Most of the Strike games are pretty fun. Next up we got Crayon Shin-chan 4, Ora no Itazura Daihenshin. So our prank, our great transformation prank, is what this one's subtitled. Crayon Shin-chan is like this cartoon of a kind of a naughty little boy with a lot of dirty jokes, but from the character's perspective, the dirty jokes are kind of over his head. So it's like, it's kind of a kid's show, but also has a lot of stuff that's supposed to be like for the adults in the room to laugh at. It's one of those shows that's been going on forever in Japan, kind of like Sazae-san and Doraemon. There's been a lot of games. We saw like a mini game a while back, and I think Boxy played this one on Saturday, but I kind of only caught the very end of that. So he seemed to be enjoying it. I think this is a 2D platformer for the most part. 2D platformer and mini games. Okay. They get different costumes. That's interesting. Some collectible achievements. Ooh. Collect up to 15 lives, so that's kind of a death list. And then beat the higher level stages of the various mini games. So not a super hard set unless those mini games are hard. But we can look at this one. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, there's the chicken costume. So I'm guessing that each of the costumes kind of gives you different abilities to use. I guess those are teacups? Looks like you're collecting. You throw leaves as a squirrel. Got a Wimpod here for those twin Pokemon. Like a beetle costume? Huh. I think that's like an extra life. The dog's probably like a checkpoint, maybe? Hey, Sane, welcome in. We are looking at Crayon Shin-Chan 4 on Game Boy. Looks like a pretty decent platformer, I'd say. Worth a shot if you like platformers. And there's not like a whole lot of damageless stuff. There's not any damageless stuff that I see. It's just gonna be a matter of the mini games, if those are any good. Anyway, welcome in. Sam, we were looking at so far we've got Suikoden, Tonic Trouble on Game Boy Color, turn-based RPG on Artaboy, Nuclear Strike 64 on 64, and that was just Crayon Shin-Chan. Next up we're looking at Invisimals on PSP. Just want to make sure these are new sets. Yeah, new sets. Okay. Congrats, Drake. Turn-based on what system? Arduboy. Arduboy got a turn-based RPG set. So Under the Tower, I think it was called. Where was that? Under the Tower on Arduboy. Arduboy, it's kind of a homebrew system. So like Uzabox, but much less capable. Pinball was good. You have some more pictures. Interesting. So Invisible. Here's Invisibles. Let's see here. I feel like we saw a game of this series somewhere. I'm not really familiar with this series, but I think it's kind of a card game. Is that right? Strategy action role-playing game. Okay. So this might be kind of like Pokemon, maybe? Have to capture a bunch of different Invisimals. Defeat other people that are collecting them. Oh, there's time trials for how fast you collect things. That's interesting. Got a PS Vita with a bunch of games for Father's Day. Asked for nothing. Got from someone selling at work. Nice. Congrats, Drake. What in the world of the PSP is this game? We'll find out. We'll have to find out. Let's see. No commentary? Sure. Oh, we must have looked at this one before. Okay. We did look at this one before. So this must be a, they must have taken out the set and put it back up or something. Probably had problems. Okay, so it is kind of like Pokemon, but it's using like the, kind of that ARG style of like, you have maybe like a little card in front of you or something that you're looking at, and you have like the PSP camera aimed at it, and so it's like you're watching things fight in front of almost, you know, like looking through the PSP, it looks like they're fighting on top of your desk or whatever. So that's kind of gimmicky and interesting. Scan the barcode to get a monster game. Oh, there's quite a few of those. Quite a few. Yeah, there's some stuff using the eye or something like that. Which I have one of actually, the PS3 camera. But there's like a card game where you need a special table or something, and you'd lay out your cards, and so you were like playing against somebody, but you were using real cards, and it was like, I don't know. I thought it was a silly idea because it's like the whole point of playing in a computer game is that you don't have to deal with the real cards. You know, you don't have to deal with them slipping and sliding and getting ripped and torn and so on. Like, just have a card game. Yeah. I mean, okay, you're having a card game, you know, with somebody across the world. Like, that's cool and all, but like you could have a virtual card game with somebody across the world. You could play Hearthstone, you know? Wolfie says he has 2 eyes, but no PS3. Never opened it, got it for cheap. Never intrigued enough to open. Ah. Intrigued enough to buy, but not to open. I don't know. Did I play anything with the eye? Yes, we did. We set up and played a bunch of these sports games on PS3. I got my nieces to play some of those with us, and they're actually pretty good. I didn't get around to playing. I didn't have a Wii. I didn't play like Wii Sports, but the two sports games that are like motion games on PS3 were pretty good. They were decently fun. You'd work up a sweat playing them. So it's like you had like a fighting game. Like it was basically a set of mini games, and you had like archery, you had a fighting game, you had like a rowing game or something like that. So there was some interesting stuff. But anyway, back to talking about Invisimals here. I think this is a set that we talked about before, and it must have just been removed and then re-added. I think. Um, but anyway, there you go. If you're interested in that, it's back. Next up, we've got Super Real Mahjong PVFX. So this is a PCFX game. I think this is a strip Mahjong game. Yep, it's mature. So not safe for work, not safe for streaming. But if you want another Mahjong game, there's a lot of these on arcade. But here's a PCFX one. 2009 this came out. Well, keep in mind, like PS3, I think PS3 debuted in like 2007. Let me think, because we were just looking at okay, 2006, late 2006. We were looking at Suikoden 5. Suikoden 5 came out in 2006 as well, so it was a very late PS2 game. Cosmic made the remark that it didn't look that much better. Actually, looked a little worse than Final Fantasy 9 as far as just like the backgrounds and stuff. But yeah, so 2006 was when PS3 debuted, and its life cycle was I want to say until like I think the PS4 came out in like what 2011, 2012, something like that. It's like a 5 or 6 year lifespan. Oh no, 2013. Okay, so from 2006 to 2013. So yeah, about 7 years. Wolfie's got his fingers crossed for Strip Monopoly. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Okay, so you got win a hand after declaring Ricci. So some of the stuff would kind of require explaining how Mahjong works. So basically, Mahjong's kind of like Gin Rummy, but there's a whole bunch of different whole bunch of different hands you can have. There's basically, if you call another person's tile, you can't trade that tile anymore, and you have to show the thing that you're matching it with. So you'll have like you can do either a pawn or a con, I think it is. Is it a con? Anyway, you can do either like a 5, 6, 7 or 1, 2, 3, and you can do like a triplet, like three of the same kind. And in Mahjong, there's only ever 4 of a given tile. But to win, either you have to not call anything and have a closed hand, so what that's called, and that increases the point value of the hand that you have if you keep it closed. If you open it, then you have to have at the very least 1 triplet of like dragons or winds to win. So you have some conditions under which you can if you open your hand, there's only certain conditions under which you can win after that. But it's pretty complicated. Anyway, it looks like the achievements here are wanting you to win in a bunch of different ways, with a bunch of different hands. It's not just beat the people you're up against. So that could be fairly difficult if you're unfamiliar with how to get these different hands. And a lot of it's, I mean, obviously it's a roll of die. It's luck based. If you can even make those hands. Uh, yep. So fairly, for a strip game, this is actually a fairly difficult set, just because it's mahjong and it's actually requiring you to do some pretty specific things here, and these are. I feel like this might be undervalued, given that you need to go and learn how to play mahjong to figure out how to do those things. But anyway, there you go. There's a mahjong game for you, and we're not going to look that one up for obvious reasons. Dragons, triplets of chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. I mean, kind of. You have the red dragon, which is the little chew sign, and you have the and it's usually red. You have white dragons, which are just blank tiles, and you have let's see, what's the other? You have a green dragon, and then all the winds are black on white. So you have like you can think of it as like a green tea flavor, cherry flavor, and I don't know, vanilla. Extra value isn't in the points if you catch my drift. I suppose. Anyway, next up we've got Wild Arms, Ultra Code F. I don't remember where this one falls. I think this might be a remake of the first game. I never played this one, so I'm not sure what it was. But it's a 3D one. Wild Arms game on PS2. I definitely want to play that series eventually. I played through a bunch of the first game, didn't finish it. Played through a bunch of the second game, didn't finish it, but dang, did they have some good music. Flower tile. Let's see. So a lot of progress achievements, a few missables. A lot of collection stuff. Obtain different things. Recruit different characters. Probably optional characters. Looks like there's an arena of some kind. Might be side quest kind of thing. Max out different skills or weapons. Obtain a bunch of different cartridges, abilities, things like that. Oh, and a Donphan appears for those knowing Pokemon. Someday you may learn how to play Mahjong properly. Yeah, I think we talked about doing like a stream that was like all Mahjong one day and just kind of going through and figuring out how to play it. Like I figured out well enough to play to get the achievements on the Yakuza games, or at least on 0, Kiwami 1 and 2, and 3. But I haven't really played like full-on Mahjong games that are just Mahjong. But I do enjoy it. It's pretty fun. As far as gambling games go, and as far as like it's essentially like a kind of card game, kind of a card game. Let's see. Obtain all treasures. So there's a. Okay, so basically gather all the treasure chests in these dungeons. Level up. I'm guessing the Abyss is like a randomized dungeon or something. That could be time consuming. And then there's puzzle boxes. Not sure what those are. And then fill out a bestiary. Okay. So there's some fairly involved stuff there. More than just your average turn-based RPG. She learned by playing. That's cool. Let's see here. Gotta love those classic Western tunes in these games. Yeah, there's some pretty tricky hands, for sure. There's the most basic stuff is like you have, what is it? I think you have like 13 tiles, and you need I think it's like 3 triplets, and then a pair. Is that right? I guess no, I guess it's only 11. So I guess it's 4 sets of 3, and then a pair. Yeah, that makes sense, because then you'd have 13. Right? No. You have 12. Okay, so I think you play with 13, and you pull your 14th tile to win the game, is how it goes. And you usually want your groups of 3 can be numbers in a row, like 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, etc. Or they can be triplets. You can also have hands with quads. The hands with quads work out a little bit differently, though. There's a lot of weird rules around those. Sorry, Wolfie, I'll shut up about Mahjong. Sorry, guys. Just rambling about Mahjong. It's a fun game, though. If you like any kind of gambling card games, it's pretty interesting. These look like the main characters of the first game, so I think this was a remake. Yeah. I think these are the characters from the first game. And like you start with this guy, with Jack, and he's doing like a Indiana Jones routine. I think it's the beginning of the first game. So I think this one is like a remake of that first one. Anywho, definitely a series worth checking out. There's some pretty crazy stuff that goes on, I think, in like Wild Arms 3. Kind of jumps the shark a little bit here and there, but good series. Well, I mean, Mahjong is played. There's like a whole pro league of Mahjong players in Japan too. So it's not just, you know, people going to the people going to the arcades and playing the you know, questionable ones, or the pachinko parlors and stuff. But anyway, on to the next game. We got Blue's Clues, Blue's Alphabet Book. So Blue's Clues was like a little kid's educational show. I think it was on like PBS or something. Way back, a little bit after my time, but a bit before my niece's time. So I think it was like late 90s when this came on. And I was only sort of exposed to it from people making fun of it. But your wife lost a lot, just saying. Anyway, so this is probably a meme set. Looks like there's a lot of mini games. Cosmic says Blue's Clues is good. Gotta complete the alphabet book. I guess we can take a look at this one. Blue's Clues. Blue's alphabet book. GBC gameplay. We just figured out Blue's Clues. That's all I know. Okay. Definitely aimed at a very young player base. Actually, not not bad as far as music goes. It's like an oven.
Let's write it in our handy dandy.
Anyway, sounds like an ocean game. Yeah, yeah, that's fair. Just the kind of sounds. All right, so that was Blue's Clues GBC. Pretty easy set. Really just finish out the mini games. Oven jokes. No. Next up we got Battle Zeke Den on Super Nintendo. This is a beat 'em up game. Let's see here. Okay, so you gotta win lives. I guess you level up with your characters. Beat the bosses in different chapters. Beat the game on easy, beat the game normal, beat the game hard. So yeah, basically beat the game on hard with each character. Use a bunch of different moves per character. Interesting. Beat the bosses without using special. Get through boss rush without using special. Interesting. Not seeing like a lot of damageless stuff or deathless. So it could be a pretty doable set for even those like me who are not great at beat 'em ups. Punch the console. Let's take a look at this one. Battle Zeke and SNES. Huh, gives you the 3 sizes. Looks like you can change characters on the fly too. Can't have a beat 'em up without a sign in the sign in the sky saying go, move. So it's only one plane here. You don't get multiple planes to move back and forth on. Not that that's a good thing or bad thing, just a thing. Get some verticality there a little bit, but oh, here's a boss fight. Sound effects are a little bit underwhelming there. Hit detection is a little bit iffy. At least in terms of when they're doing their special. Quite a lot of diversity from level to level too. Oh, that's neat. Kind of like pig monks or something. This one looks really interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and toss this on my wanna play list. Check out at some point. Alright, so that was Battle Zeke Den. Next up we got Pack Attack. We got Foxy to play this a little bit. It's kind of a Tetris game. Pac-Man Tetris game. The goal is that you're kind of like setting up you're sort of setting up a path of ghosts for your Pac-Man to eat, and your goal is to try and make it so that you don't get the ghosts like locked in to where they can't get eaten. Then you get points based off of how many lines you clear and how many ghosts you eat. So it's kind of an interesting take on Tetris. I played a little bit while I was watching Foxy, and I did cleared some of the puzzle modes. And this is the Super Nintendo one. Yeah, so there's already a Pack Attack on game Genesis as well. I think on I think there's one on TG16 or PC Engine. So on a Game Boy that doesn't have a set yet. There's a ColecoVision. Well, that's just regular Pac-Man. Game Gear. There's a Game Gear version. Genesis one has a set. This one has a set. Okay, so just the two. Oh, and a wild Toxicroak here for those who want Pokemon. But yeah, let's pull up Pack Attack here on the SNES. Oh, let me try that again. I think the puzzle mode is actually a better demonstration of the way the game plays. Let's see. Sure. So you can see what the guy's doing here is like just setting up a path. And for the puzzle mode, it's just eat all the ghosts on screen within, X number of Pac-Mans. Alright, caught a Toxicroak. Very cool. We can watch this a little faster. But yeah, I can get if we go further on, it can get pretty complicated, some of these puzzles. We have to clear out some lines first. Or be very careful about which way you point your Pac-Man. Anyway, interesting game. Like I said, I played a little bit of it, and Foxy played a little bit of it. It's I don't like it as much as Tetris, but it's different. It's interesting. So there you go. If you like Pac-Man, if you like Tetris, you can give it a whirl. Next up, we've got Cosmo Gang, the puzzle. And this actually looks like Pack Attack. Interesting. This one also has a puzzle mode. I'm guessing your energy balls are basically like use fewer, like basically beat the levels in less time than absolutely required, or not absolutely required, but yeah, basically win the game, win the puzzles in as few moves as possible, kind of thing. Yeah, this is basically the same thing. Interesting that Namco made two of these. Just, I guess they must have made this one and they're like, hey, I bet we could rescan this with Pac-Man. But there you go. If you like that style, either of those games, it's gonna play pretty similarly. I'm not really sure what I want to play today. I didn't actually get a lot of time today to dig into any of these and get it set up. So probably not one of the PS2 ones because that'll take longer to set up. But anyway, next up we got MotorStorm Arctic Edge. It's actually kind of surprising me that there was a MotorStorm before just MotorStorm on PS3. So that's kind of interesting. It is a racing game, so it's going to be I need to get ranks. I guess that's just by doing the course over and over. And silver better. Gold. Festival events. I will say the MotorStorm on PS3 was pretty neat because you could use the you could turn on the 6-axis, and so you could use the you could like steer the controller. Like you would just you know, this is not a PS3 controller, but you could actually like turn just by moving the controller like this, and you know, sort of rocking it back and forth. So it was a little bit gimmicky, and it was a little bit of like a moving into the concept of motion games and what you could do with them. But I mean, it was different, so that was kind of neat. But obviously this is on PS2, so it didn't have that. Boost explode, jump a total of so much. Yep. So I never really delved deeply into that game. Like I played just some of the basic races and it was fun. Had a ton of different vehicles, but looks like there's just a ton of different types of events in this game. It's not just races. You do have a bunch of the time attack stuff here, using different types of vehicles on each of the courses. Whew, there's a lot of achievements on this one. A lot of achievement. Beat the developer time. Oh. So I'm guessing the dev for the set got a time and it was like, hey, I'm not the greatest at this. Just beat my time. It'll be easy. No sweat. This was X Claus, is the guy who did this set. Let's take a look at this one. MotorStorm Arctic Edge. PS2 gameplay. Oh, stock developer times in game, so it might be that. Okay, that would probably make more sense. So some of the things I'll give MotorStorm is that you have a whole bunch of different types of vehicles you can use. It's like you got, you know, like I don't know, what would I call this? Like a motorcycle slash Polaris? I don't know. I don't know what I'd call this thing. It's like an ice motorcycle or something. But got that. You got, you know, ATVs, Jeeps. Got sometimes like big trucks or bulldozer, like construction type vehicles. So that's kind of neat. A powered sled. There you go. Wolfie says, I was dismissive of this, but seeing the gameplay now, it looks alright. Yeah, I wouldn't say any of the MotorStorm games are like, OMG, best racing game ever. They're not quite in that category, but, you know, they're probably like above average to above average in general. So they're not bad. I had a fun time with them, though I'm obviously not a connoisseur of racing games per se. I played a few here and there. But, I had a couple of the MotorStorm stuff and a couple of the MotorStorm games, and PlayStation 3 ones were pretty decent. Good fun. Definitely they don't take themselves too seriously. It's not like super realistic or anything. Definitely more like arcadey. You know, for PS2, it's really does not look bad at all. Oh, it went from like a ice sled to just a straight up motorcycle. Interesting. Oh, there's like a fire engine. I think that was a fire engine anyway. Oh no. That's more like a dump truck. Just got the fire engine coloring on it. So yeah, this was MotorStorm Arctic Edge. Pretty neat little racer there. Alright. Next up we've got Oni Chronicles Genesis on the Game Boy. Which is a whole lot of mouthful. But anyway, so I think this is a spin-off of the Oni game on PS2. I think Oni's on PS2. Oh no, Feudal Japan. So there's an Oni on PS2 that's like a cyberpunk style game, and the character on there looked kind of like that. Maybe not. But anyway, yeah, I think it's a different company. Never mind. Never mind. Yeah, there's like a action adventure over the shoulder, sort of cyberpunk-ish, police drama-ish kind of game, on PS2. I thought it was a Bible game about Genesis and Chronicles. Not quite. Obtain the epistle. Speaking of Bible stuff, but anyway, let's see. This is a turn-based RPG. Okay. Okay. This is like a medieval Japan setting turn-based RPG. In one session, defeat all 7 types of monsters from around Kakure Village, Southern Cave, Kamiya Village, and Mount Ishiuchi. Oh. Not a huge fan of the Endurance Achievos, but this one's got Endurance Achievos. It looks like you got to get some rare drops, maybe. Oh, lucky drops. That could be potentially annoying. So we got some Endurance Achievos, we got some rare drop Achievos. Take a look at this one. Drake says, not a fan of endurance achievements either, probably. Not a fan of the font. This kind of hurts my eyes. A little bit. I think this might just be the function of whoever's, whatever emulator this person's using. Oh, there's a game called Enduro? I don't love the music on this one. A wild Flapple appears for those doing Pokemon. Let's see if we can get to some combat. It's the kid who always frowns. There we go. Okay, the damage you take and the damage you give is pretty high. It's pretty like inflated numbers. What was that status screen here? Ooh, so we can go back. Showed at like 120 health, and you're doing like 30 damage and taking like 30 damage a hit. So it's a little bit inflated, especially for what the Game Boy is actually capable of storing damage numbers. So that's kind of an eh. But there you go. If you wanted a sort of like Ninja Samurai RPG on Game Boy, have we got a game for you? I might give this one a shot eventually. Next up, we got another Ubisoft game. So we're looking at Tonic Trouble on Game Boy Color earlier. Here is Rayman Raving Rabbids, which I think is a minigame game. And I think we saw this one. Yeah, we saw the DS one a bit ago. So this is basically a set of different little mini games. Every door you open is a different mini game. So there's a whole bunch of achievements related to specific ones, about getting specific scores. Score at least 3,000 points in this one. There's some time attack ones for some of them. Cosmic says this game is fun. Drake says I like RPGs on Game Boy. Not that I played many. Didn't know they had Raving Rabbids on PS2. Every door you open is an opportunity that knocked. Yeah, I suppose. So this is Rayman, Raving Rabbids, PS2. Gameplay. Yeah, I think it was on a lot of systems. And you got it for Wii. I think it might have been on Microsoft too, like on an Xbox or Xbox 360. I guess it would have been on the original Xbox if it was coming out at the same time as PS2. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, you're trying food. Yum, yum, yum. So he wants sausages, peanuts, and sardines. Seems like you're drawing just a lot of rectangular, oblong objects. It's on PC because you have 2 sealed copies in your cupboard. Nice. Jake says I only ever remember seeing ads for it on Wii. I don't remember which system it was being advertised for, but I remember a lot of ads for it back in like the 2000s. Cow tossing? There's a cow tossing minigame. I'm guessing Ubisoft would be too afraid of PETA to do stuff like this today. You hit the rabbit on the salad, yes. Alright, so that's Raving Rabbids. Very comic game. Some good fun. Doesn't take itself too seriously. It's back before Ubisoft was what it is today. Had a little bit more soul in their games, I guess. Oh, there are some damageless ones. Okay. Or hitless, I guess. So you got some basically a whole bunch of different achievements based on which minigame you're playing. So there's time attacks, there's some damage lists, and then there's just a lot of score stuff. Gun Game 1 worked really well with the motion controller. Cool. Ubisoft catching strays. Something like that. Alright, next up we got Magical Chase on the Game Boy Color. I think we've seen this one on one of the main consoles rather than the Game Boy Color. Like considered a shoot 'em up. Oh, so it's a shoot 'em up game. I want to say this one was on like Super Nintendo or Genesis or something. Oh yeah, okay. So there's a PC Engine one, and oh, they made a Tactics Ogre game too. Made multiple Tactics Ogre games. Okay, so Magical Chase on PC Engine. Yeah, maybe that's just it, just PC Engine. Okay. Dun-dun-dun. Maximize your health. Accumulate heart containers. Reach the final boss of any stage without casting any spells. Use an elixir. Damageless. Defeat different bosses. Damageless. Clear the stages. Clear the stages on wild difficulty. Once you see the game. A lot of Chivos around specific spells. Complete any stage with full HP. And receive extra points instead of hearts. Okay. I don't know if you get heals during the game, but that could be like a basically beat a level damageless. Let's got Magical Chase GPC gameplay. Ba-ba-ba. I'm not sure what I think about the music here. I might play this one today. Looks like one of the easier shoot 'em ups out there. Got a lot of health. Kind of like Cotton, but for babies. You like the color palette? Yeah, they're definitely making use of all their colors. See if we can get skipped like the boss. Yeah, I think this is the boss of the stage, probably. You fight it multiple times? Well, anyway, this was Magical Chase on Game Boy Color. Looks pretty fun. Music is good, instrumentation is poor. Yeah, I kind of felt like there's just some really kind of painful to the ear sound effects in the music there, or sounds. I wish like the melody's not bad, but but yeah, they could have tuned it a little better. Next up, we've got Army Men Air Combat on the N64. I don't think I played this one. I remember playing one of the Army Men games at my friend's place on 64. I don't think it was this one. Um, dun, 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 dun. So this is like a shooting game, flying a helicopter. So this probably plays kind of like that Nuclear Strike game we were looking at earlier. Hmm. Finish the missions without using a continue. Just finish the missions. It's a pretty basic set. Basically, just beat the missions and beat them without continuing. With Sarge as your co-pilot. Okay. Ba-ba-ba. Look at this one. I dig the music. So yeah, this looks like it plays a lot like the Nuclear Strike game. Looks fun. This one's definitely going on my list. Give a shot sometime. Cowbell wouldn't hurt. So I guess you're fighting like bugs as well as not just the brown soldiers. Non-scratchy sounding whistles would be better. Indeed. And a wild Snover appears for those Pokemon. Bum, bum. Alright. Next up we got Zack, The Art of Visual Stage. So this is a game that actually got ported all over the place. There's a PC-88 version of this, I think. It's on I think it was one of the ones that I saw the Basement Brothers do a vid of. I think. I'll Basement Brothers Zack PC-88. Maybe not. Maybe I was thinking of a different game. Highly recommend their channel. I'm gonna go ahead and put a link to them over here. Because why not? They're good dudes. They do a lot of interesting reviews and documentaries on PC-88, PC-98. Both Foxy and I are pretty big fans. But anyway, I think this is a game that they've discussed before. Kind of the same time period as like some of the Ys games and so on. I don't know if it plays quite like that. I think you actually get to swing your sword in this one. But has that kind of isometric over the top. Congrats, Drake. Got a Snover. Grass and ice. Oh, interesting. Interesting combo. Looks like a pretty straightforward set here. I'm not seeing like damageless. Gotta level up. Ba-ba. Oh, this is the MSX2 version. Okay. So yeah, this is a game that got ported all over the place. So there's an MSX version as well as I think there's a PC-88 and a probably like a Towns FM Towns version. Let's get the combat. Oh, it is Bump Combat. Look at that. Okay. Is he just exploiting a bug here? I think he might be exploiting a bug here. Again, exploiting another bug. Something. It's got some cool tunes. I'd be interested in seeing the Super Nintendo version as opposed to the MSX version. Exact SNES gameplay. It's a lot of action going on, but not a lot of consent. Now in English. Alright, I'm taking it. This is going to be,
Alright, hello.
yeah, I don't want to hear somebody else's commentary, but... Let's get to the combat. He might just be showing off all the text because he got a patch. So there's an English patch for this translation. Oh, here we go. He got killed by something. He's not using exploit. Other people's opinions are bad and wrong. No, I think it's I don't think you're supposed to like if somebody's got commentary. Oh, he just got one shot. Okay. But yeah, it looks like this one has a bump system too, so that's interesting. I'll I'll give that one a shot at some point. I'm a little curious if there's no, okay. So the Super Nintendo one's the only one that has a set so far, but there's an MSX version, there's a PC-88 version, there's a PC-98 version, that's never getting a set. There's a sequel on PC Engine. There's a side story on PC Engine, another side story on Game Gear. Okay. That might be kind of cool if it ever gets a set. But anyway, sort of an off-brand ease type game. Reload just to make sure we're not forgetting anything. The last one for today is a pachinko game. Pachinko Daisakusen. Daisakusen is like great plan. So, the great conspiracy of pachinko, or the great plan of pachinko. And there's rocket launchers in a pachinko game. Interesting. And a motorbike table. So pachinko is kind of like I think Drake and I have talked about this. Pachinko is kind of like the original pinball, where like you'd shoot balls at the top, and then they'd like fall, they'd come down, and you're basically, I don't know if you have a lot of control over what's going on as they're falling through, but it's like you have your games like Arkanoid and like Peggle where you actually like smacking the balls back up and stuff. But in Pachinko, you're really just, I think the only amount of control you might have is like originally shooting the ball at the first and how much power you're putting in, maybe what angle. So maybe it is kind of like Peggle, which I know Wolfie's like got some kind of world record on, right? But let's take a look at this one. This is Pachinko Daisanshi. Yes. Do you feel lucky, Punk? Indeed, indeed. Yeah, here we go, short play. Okay. That was a very short video. um So you're in some kind of like dystopian future where everybody's in the military and all they have for entertainment is like these pachinko centers, I guess. uh Wolfie says his mom has an original pachinko board from some decades ago. Interesting. Drake says his friend's uncle has a pachinko machine. I know Foxy got a um he got a pachinko machine that was Konami Goemon themed pachinko. Okay, so there's no like music on this. This is just the opening scene over and over. Did it actually play? Well, anyway, it's pachinko. All right, so that is that. Complete any table by emptying it completely. Dun, dun, dun. It might be worth checking this one out just to see what it plays like. But yeah, that was this week's worth of sets. Let's go ahead and go to our second part of the show, where we call this the Retro Treatment Stocking, or Community Highlights, whichever you prefer. And we'll go back in time to last week. And let's start from the bottom this time. Let's see. So Manny is at the bottom last week. That is surprising. And he's usually well, he has some off weeks, but we'll throw him a shout out. Oh, Drake saw Cheeky Cheeky at the arcade. Nice. Retro Achievement Stocking Stuffers. Indeed. Indeed. Let me throw Manny Hours a shout out here. It's a good dude. Plays a lot of racing games and Dynasty Warriors and Pokemon, among other things. Looks like he booted up MotorStorm. He's been playing some Aero Flash. So they might be competing with Saiyan for those on those leaderboards. And most recently, he's been playing some Dungeons and Dragons, the arcade game, which I think is a beat 'em up. I think that's a Capcom beat 'em up. Yes, it is. So highly recommend that one. Very good game. Drake says, I think I got 0 retro achievements last week. Cosmic says, I don't have anything new this week. Well, that's okay. Next up we got Casually. Casually's a pretty cool dude. Does a lot of I think he's British. And I think he does a lot of Mario Kart stuff. Actually plays a lot of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on his stream. So he doesn't actually, I haven't seen him do retro on stream, but I know he's big into the Tetris games, and he's given me a lot of pointers on those. So he's a good dude. Drake says Cosmic and him are racing the bottom. I think that D&D game is on Xbox and Steam. Yeah, I think that one got ported around. It's in some of their arcade collections. I wonder if he's got his... Okay. I think he might be something different on Twitch. But anyway. Good dude. Looks like he's been playing some Tetris as well. And he also played some Tetris Plus. And a Mario 64 randomizer. Alright. Next up we got Frosty, who is Mega Seraphimon. So, I think I've seen him pop in a time or two. Let's see if I can count that out correctly. Maybe. We'll copy paste. Copy and paste is your friend. It is indeed. It is indeed. Alright, so he's been playing some Final Fantasy IV Advance, Pokemon Picross, Picross 3D, FF Tactics Advance, and Animal Crossing on the DS. Some different genres there. And then Neo. Neo's a good dude. Shows up in Wise Man's chat every once in a while. Have a shout out. Drake says, I know about copy and paste. And you get around to the Mario games, I imagine they'll have hard sets. Yes and no. I think the main sets are actually pretty well curated at this point. So I think if you're going for like Super Mario World, Super Mario World 2, Mario Brothers, the original Super Mario Brothers 2, which is Super Mario Bros. US, those aren't too bad. The original on NES, and the Super Mario Bros. 3 on NES can be kind of tough. There's a couple that are like time attack type stuff. Lost Levels is really tough. Lost Levels is really tough to beat. Never mind getting the set for. Hey Knocker, welcome in. We are to the community highlights segment. So we covered the new set, the new sets. There wasn't a lot this week, but we did see Suikoden 5, Motorstorm on PS2, a couple Rayman games, Tonic Trouble, a bunch of Game Boy games. There's a bunch of like turn-based RPGs, like a Oni Chronicles, something like that. Oh, you've been lurking. Okay. Jake says, I haven't tried Mario sets. I think I just need to do Super Mario Land, as that's my childhood, and go from there. Yeah, Super Mario Land's not too bad. Probably have to beat Mario in 5 minutes. I don't know. Knocker's been boosting his RA while stream is on. Yeah. Knocker kills it with patching stuff left and right. Anyway, so Neo's been doing. I had been talking to him about doing Picross stuff, so I knew he was doing the Mario Super Picross. And he's also been continuing to work on Final Fantasy, that Pokemon set, Balloon Fight, and Super Mario Land on Game Boy. Speaking of Super Mario Land, there you go. Yeah, I think the hardest achievements on this one, in my opinion, are the going coinless, like beating a level without picking up coins. I feel like that's probably the hardest, harder than like damageless, some of the damageless achievos. But I haven't got around to finishing that. Knocker says he's working on the Sonic Adventure DLC. Very cool. Some of these achievements are pretty ridiculous like that though. Zelda and Phantasy Star were pretty good. Yeah, I felt like the Zelda set was pretty neat. Watching you do it and watching Pulse did it not that long ago. It was a good set. Next up, we got RVK, another friend from our Scanlands community. Knocker says, I haven't done Mario Land 1 because it's the jankiest Mario game I played. It is. It is pretty janky. Drake's not a fan of coinless. Wolfie says, I'm used to going coinless. I had a gambling phase. So RVK's been playing some Half-Life Blue Shift on PS2. So I'm guessing that's a hack of the the PC expansion into the PS2 version. So that's interesting. A Legend of Zelda hack, Castlevania hack, Cyberbots. I think we've talked about that one. Zuma's Revenge. I'm not familiar with that one. Say, a Marble Popper. I've never even heard of Marble Popper as a genre. What is this game? Zuma's Revenge. It's a DSi game. So a lot of the DSi games are like were originally like phone games. And PopCap is, I mean, online and phone games. Wolfie says he played this on Xbox. Zuma's like the most popular game ever. Oh, I've seen games like this. Okay. 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 I've seen that kind of game before. PopCap was a great studio till EA bought them. Yep. It's a mobile game. Yeah, I kind of figured. All right, next up we got Cassette Cobra. This is a pretty cool person. We hang out with them on shows up on Pulse's stream a lot, and shows up in Wiseman's chat a lot. Has some fun takes. Looks like they've been playing. Well, as you can tell, I don't know what jitter they are, but we'll just use the default English of he. Looks like he's been playing Symphony of the Night and some the One Piece Game Boy game with the Snap achievements, Mega Man Anniversary Collection, Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay. Looks like he's got quite a few of the Yu-Gi-Oh games patched. Very cool. Zoom is basically Luxor, which has a bunch of games in its series. Okay. Yeah, I'm not super familiar with a lot of the mobile games. You know, like I know Peggle, because Peggle had like a WoW World of Warcraft extension or mod, and I played it there a lot. And I played like everybody knows Angry Birds, but I can't say I know a whole lot more than those ones. Peggle was on consoles and PC. Okay. Next up we got Rockstar Lexi. I know I've been watching her play some Mega Man Legends of late, but looks like recently she's been playing some Sonic the Hedgehog 2 XL. So some Sonic hacks. Sonic Unleashed. Saw her playing that the other day. And then the Game Boy Advance port of Sonic the Hedgehog 1. The perfect bonus set of Sonic the Hedgehog. And it looks like she finished out the revision of the original Sonic the Hedgehog. And she was playing Initial D the other day too. I remember that. And some Star Fox. Angry Birds was Rovio. Uh, Knocker says she's a bad streamer. She likes bullying people. Those games all came out of PC, then got ported to mobile, and that became a thing. Yeah. So PopCap, was it PopCap that also did the Candy Crush games? I remember the Candy Crush games and like Bejeweled, and there was a couple like handful of I don't know if they were Flash games, but just really like actually kind of pretty games for what they were, but they were like basically like web browser games, and then they got ported everywhere. Haven't even done the Sonic games on Xbox, so we'll probably never get around to doing them on RA. Candy Crush was a different company. Okay. Going up the list. Next up we got Pulse. And Pulse has been doing he's streaming right now as we speak. He's playing some Silent Hill. Going through that. I think he was just making sure he had a bunch of this stuff working. He's playing some Twisted Metal Black when his friend came over the other night, and some Cool World, and opened up and showed off the intro to Tales of the Abyss. And I think was it last week that he got the was it last week or the week before he got the badge for Contra 3? That was pretty impressive. Yeah, Matt sucks. That's a Government Cheese, I think was the guy. I think it's probably spelling his name wrong here. Oh, no. I guess it worked. There we go. Gonna play some Cool World? Yeah, looks like he's playing some Grand Theft Auto there. Uh, let's see. So we got Lifted and Foxy. Wow, I came ahead of Foxy last week. That's kind of surprising. So Lifted's been playing some Death and Return of Superman, which is a beat 'em up. Some Kadash on PC. It looks like he badged Kadash on PC Engine. I hear that the original PC-88, PC-98 versions of Kadash are really good, and then the NES one is kind of awful. So I think if that's the game I'm thinking of. But I've been meaning to try that series at some point. So we'll throw Lifted a shout out here. Ba-ba-bum. They sued people for using Sega? For using Saga. Oh. Okay. Huh. I wonder if he plays on NoPixel? I don't know. Candy Crush Saga. And got the Lord of the Rings the Third Age badge too. Okay. So it's been busy. Foxy's been continuing to work on Tai and Final Fantasy V. So there's I should mention this. There's this thing called a 4-job fiesta that's going on, and I think there's probably some information in the topic of it. But you basically, there's a site that's assigning people jobs, essentially. So you're playing through the game, and it's like you're rolling a dice for which job that you're going to play through from like a certain point of the game up to the point where you unlock the next crystal. And during the normal game, when you unlock a new crystal, you get a whole bunch of jobs, potentially. But in this version, you get one job, and you're forced to use that job until the next crystal. So it's like you kind of get a roll the dice of which jobs you get to play the game through. And so you have to like sign up on this site and get your assignment of which jobs you're playing, and it's kind of randomized. So I think you have to do it deathless, I think, or like without a game over. But it's kind of interesting. And Foxy's doing that, BCG's doing that, and Roto's doing that, though he's not doing it in Retro Achievements. Some indie game about an actual Nordic saga got used. Oh, got sued. Yeah. I heard about that. Banner Saga, I think. And then War of the Gems was our review game this week. And Final Soldier is our challenge game for next week. Or for this week. Sorry. War of the Gems was last week's review game. Final Soldier's this week's challenge game. So we'll throw throw Foxy a shout out here. Bum. And then let's see. Next up we got Wolfie, who's here in chat with us. Throw him a shout out as well. He's been playing some SD Gundam. I saw you playing that earlier today. I was working. Started playing some Kung Fu on Lynx and some Robotron. You have my condolences, sir, on playing Kung Fu. That game looks pretty awful. I've seen I think I've seen Foxy play it. I think I've seen Saiyan play it some. Tucker says gross. Oh man, you've really been jumping between a bunch of different stuff, a bunch of different things. Fun times. Revenge of the Gator. Trampoline Terror. Interesting. Good work, sir. Good work, sir. A lot of Chivas from a lot of different games. Next up we got Navanos. Or Navanos. Shout out here. Oops. No slash. There we go. It would be really good without the jank. It's not great. Kung Fu. Yeah. So Navanos today was playing some Spinball. Sonic the Hedgehog Spinball, which we talked about last week. He's also got Harmony of Dissonance and the Super Nintendo UN Squad, as well as Wild Guns. Wild Guns is our review game this week for Scanlines. I'll throw Scanlines a shout out here too, for those unfamiliar. You let your nephew play and he didn't get any Chivos, so you kicked him off. Poor Wolfie. Wolfie Jr. Wolfie nephew Wolfie. I don't know. Whatever you call your nephew. Poor kid. Anyway, so Navanos has been busy. Next up is Rev. He's got a 7 in his name. We'll do copy paste on this too. Rev's good dude. Plays a lot of Final Fantasy. He recently badged Final Fantasy 11. So awesome. Awesome work on that. Drake says he watched a video where a woman was supposedly a trampoline tester. Wolfie says I call him noob. Oh, and a Weezing appeared for those doing Pokemon. One of the Gen 1 Pokemon there. So Rev's been playing some a hack of CTGP Nitro. Not familiar with CTGP. Oh, it's a hack for Mario Kart DS. Interesting. He badged Final Fantasy 11. They've got some of the subsets out for Final Fantasy 11. I saw there was a bunch of work on the server for the for Horizon 11 over the weekend. So they're getting some stuff ready for the next expansion. And it looks like he's got Mario Kart DS almost badged. Dang, one more Chivo. So Rev's been busy. Next up we've got Necro. Necro's one of our late night RA grinders. He's been working on Armored Core, and I gave him Arkeis's Ring to play last night. So he's already got almost the badge. Played some Demon's Crest. So he does he's been doing some Royal Rumble there on Mega Drive, but he does like a democracy thing on his stream where he'll play a game for like 20 minutes and then his chat decides what he plays next, and people can pop stuff into the queue for so many points to play for 10-20 minutes. So it really just kind of like Wolfie earlier. We're looking through it and it's just one game after another after another. A few Chivos here, a few Chivos there. Arkista's Ring. Yeah, Arkista's Ring was a review game for us in Scanlines, like, what, 3 months ago, 4 months ago? It's one of Foxy's favorite games. I almost badged it. You gotta go through like 4 loops, and the enemies get faster every loop and have more health every loop. So it can get pretty tough. But anywho, I guess I skipped over myself there, so I'll talk about that too. Chrono. That's not how I meant it, Wolfie. I was just saying there's a lot of jumping around between games. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, badge what you want to badge, play what you want to play. Yeah, it was a I wouldn't say it's like Zelda exactly. I mean, it's got some I guess the gameplay is kind of Zelda-ish. I would say Gauntlet is probably the game I'd compare it to more regularly. But it was really good. Had really good music. It would be nice if you could if you had a single button press would turn in a direction rather than just immediately walking that way. That was kind of a little bit but good game. Like the Zelda Overworld, yeah. So many games on RA, I just want to play them all. Yeah. I get you on that. Anyway, I've mostly as for what I've been up to, I've mostly been doing Dragon Quest stuff as my grinding while in work meetings game. So I did some of that. And I played some Pack Attack over the weekend when I saw Foxy playing that. And I played some Tetris Plus last week. And I've got Dragon Quest II NES badged. I'm getting pretty close on the Game Boy Color combo remake of 1 and 2. And then next on my list is the Super Nintendo one. I got the where is it? I got the Dragon Quest 1 part of that finished. So I just need to do the Dragon Quest 2 part for that one. And I need to go back and do the death list for Dragon Quest 1 on MSX2. You got a Saturn style controller? Cool. Bum, bum, bum. Next up we got Chrono. We'll throw Chrono. How was Dragon Quest 2? Dragon Quest 2 is a lot of fun. Dragon Quest 1 and 2, if you ever want just kind of a, I don't know, like a going back to the basics, I guess, of turn-based RPGs, it's really nice to go back to play like Dragon Quest 1, Dragon Quest 2, even like Final Fantasy 1. Though I think Final Fantasy 1's story is a little bit too convoluted and it's too long for my taste. Dragon Quest 1 you can beat in about like 6 to 8 hours ish. Dragon Quest 2 you can beat in maybe like 15 to 17. It was and it's the end game is actually pretty tough for what it is, but it's got a lot simpler mechanics than a lot of later games. So in some ways it's a step back, but it's, I don't know, it's kind of nice. You don't have to think very hard about. You don't have to think about quite as much. It still can be fairly challenging, but it's just simpler mechanics, and not as much introduced. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed going back to it. It's a good time. So Chrono's been doing Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves on NES. I'm not familiar with that one. Is that a 2D platformer? That's an action RPG. Looks like it plays like Zelda. Interesting. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, NES gameplay. Ba-bum. I guess you're in like a river or something. All the flashing lights are kind of hurting my eyes. Finds a hidden loaf of bread. This graphical style kind of reminds me of Willow on NES. And kind of Dark Castle-ish. Oh man, that's really ugly. Look at all the different shades of brown. Well, kudos to Chrono for badging that one, but can't say it makes me want to give it a shot. And other than that, he's been playing some Link Liver and some Shadowrun and some Boxel. So Boxel's another Sokoban game. Graphics are kind of good. That's the NES palette. Yeah, but man, I don't know. That made me feel a little gross just watching it being played. Anyway, next up we got Cassie. Cassie's currently playing some, I think she's still going. She was playing some, it looks like she rated Pulse. She was playing some Silent Hill 2 today, and some Battletoads. And Cave Story. She hasn't badged Cave Story, but she gave it to Poxy. Good job, Cassie. Good job. I mean, granted, I can't say too much. I give Jack Brothers to a lot of people, and I haven't badged it, but yep, and she's continuing to play all the Final Fantasy IVs and the French Coach. Jake says, I haven't badged Cave Story. Maybe you should. Give it a shot. Next we got Sark. And Sark has been really putting in a lot of effort for the Final Fight badge. That was painful, man. Painful to watch. He's got two Achievos left, and it's like a Deathless on around 5, and then Deathless, kind of sort of Deathless / Damageless. You need to have more than 50% of your health against the end boss, having defeated the end boss and not dying. And it's poof. It is rough. Final Fight's a very rough game. On at least for the Super Nintendo version. He also badged Kamen Rider, all Kamen Rider Generation last week. That actually looked like a pretty good time. It's kind of a beat 'em up game. Oh, he did the subset for it too. Max level. Nice. Dang. So right there, that's like 500, almost 600 points. And then the subset was like another 725, so it's no wonder he's number 2 on the site. He's been working on Sonic Jam. What's it on that has a set? The DSi version of Cave Story has a set. I think there's a Genesis version that has a set as well. Let me bring that up real quick. Cave Story. Yes, there's a Mega Drive homebrew version that has a set, and I've heard the Genesis version is actually easier, at least as far as the set goes. So you have it on 3DS. Yeah, it got ported all over the place. So I have it on Steam as well. I think I got it in one of those humble bundles back in the day. Next up is Knocker. Sorry it took so long to get here, sir. Throw a shout out for Knocker. Yeah, it wasn't officially ported to Genesis, you should say. It was homebrew ported. So Knocker's been working on Sonic Adventure, the DLC, as he was talking about in chat, which is the Dreamcast version. He badged the regular one earlier, and Mega Man Extreme, which I think was the Game Boy Color. I think that was like Mega Man X and X2, some combination thereof, X2, X3, I think, on Game Boy. And then Wild Guns, he badged because that's our review game. So GG's Knocker. You have it on Steam too? Cool. We got Lord Pookums. Bum, bum, bum. He played some Mega Man 6 on NES, Mega Man 5, Mega Man 4, Wizards and Warriors 10 on Game Boy. I didn't realize that it went up that high. And then Wizards and Warrior 2 on NES. And Wizards and Warriors on NES. And Link to the Past. So Pook's another one that plays a bunch of stuff on stream. Like he'll just go from game to game to game. And he's not necessarily super concerned about badging things, but he's more concerned about like beating them or beating specific challenges. But he's also very, very skilled gamer. And VCG. I know VCG's been doing he's been playing some Mighty Morphin Power Ranger games. For how much shout out here. VCG's good dude, good people. He's been playing some, almost got it badged for the movie version on Mega Drive. And playing some of the Super Nintendo version, playing some Tetris Plus, some Columns, Snoopy the Red Baron, Punch Out, Toru. He's been playing a lot of different things. And he's been streaming the 5-Job Fiesta as he's going through it, so that's cool. And he recently badged Anticipation. Which was a board game, so. Different kind of game. Alright, Wolfie, thanks for stopping by. Have a good night's sleep, man. It is 9 o'clock, so it's getting pretty late. We're almost done here. Next up we got Wise, who is at the top. As is he's streaming right now, so we'll throw him a shout out. Wise is a good people. He's been working on Super Mario 64. Looks like he's currently working on Super Mario 64. Almost badged Final Fight Guy. Dang. Almost badged Chip and Dale. Mischief Makers. Yeah, he's been kind of on an N64 kick the last couple streams. He's been playing some N64 games. He played some Superman 64. I've got a Pidgeotto Spawn. Those don't put them on. And then if he ever gets flustered with something, he'll always go back to playing some Mike Tyson, some Ninja Gaiden, some Kung Fu. So fun times. All right, well that covers it for community highlights. Now, do we want to pick a game and play? Or do we want to just raid out? Or not? I think I'm gonna play some of that Magical Chase. Let's play some of that Magical Chase at least until we get a game over, and then we'll raid out. How's that sound, guys? So we started a little late, so. Magical Chase. Hopefully I have this one. It does. It works. Alright, let's go to the Retro Arch scene. There were only 4 Wizards and Warriors games. 1 Iron Sword, which was 2. Then they made X, and lastly they made 3. Okay, so X was like 90s, like Mega Man X. Wasn't really 10. Interesting. Good to know. Thank you for the information, Cosmic. Here we go. Magical Chase. Okay, so we got which mode? So we got Raku Raku, Waku Waku. So it's like that's fun. These onomatopoeia words. So Raku Raku is like kind of gentle. It's like a gentle shaking. Raku Raku. And then Waku Waku is the sound of being excited. So, and then get a hint. I like that. I like that. It's Waku Waku. We're in Waku Waku mode. For those who watch Spy X Family, what happened? Encoder error occurred while recording? It's taking too long to encode. Uh-oh. Are we still live? That was not cool. Alright, let's try that again. Let's resize this over here. Exit out after I haven't resized. I think it's because I resized it. I think it blew a gasket on me. Oh, jeez. Alright. And my chat's disappeared, and all kinds of things have disappeared here. Alright, let's go to a different scene. Let's go to Retro Art scene. Do I not have alerts, shoutouts? Where's my chat? Why is it invisible? Oh, sheesh. Alright, well, I think I think what I'm gonna do here, stay tuned, guys. I'm just gonna restart the stream. So I will be right back.